Greetings and citations, ladybugs, gentle germs, widgets, and what's its. Welcome to Minecraft. This is a YouTube series that is based pretty heavily, at a bare minimum, very heavily influenced by the Just Create SMP series, currently underway by some phenomenal YouTubers. MrBeardstone, FoxyNoTail, ChosenArchitect, STEM.io, Dejojotheawsome, and a few others that I can't remember off the top of my head. It's very heavily inspired by them, in that it's a very simple mod pack, very straightforward. It's not super complicated. There's not a lot to the mod pack, so it really gives you an opportunity to delve especially deeply into the Create mod in particular. So let's jump in here and see what we can do about setting up a nice little world to get right on in. Alright, so single player. As with any modded world, I do always turn commands on in case something badly breaks, because you never know when something's going to break. It just happens. There's no way around it. So we're going to call this Just Create SSP. Yeah, we'll do that. And we're going to give ourselves a random seed of Just Create SSP. And just a quick little jump start to the world. We're going to go ahead and set that up as a bonus chest. Bonus chests with this particular pack are not terribly useful. I mean, you don't get super fancy stuff with them. But they can give you a few odds and ends that can make things super easy to start with. And save just a little bit of time. See, nothing super fancy. Got ourselves an apple, a few wood, dark oak log, which I'm going to try to remember to hang on to because I am a particular fan of dark oak in my builds. So I'm going to try to remember to hang on to that. Alright, so I have some logs, so I don't necessarily need to go grab any. But I do want to spend some time exploring these mountains, because they're a pretty dang good resource for iron and coal early game. And we've got ourselves a nice little coal vein right here. Now, I'm going to do something that's a little bit weird. And I am actually going to start mining a little differently. Most people would just grab the coal and just dig away at it. But I'm going to do something that I have dubbed isolation mining. What isolation mining does is you take each of the 26 directions from a block. And yes, there are 26 directions. And you mine any block that is not that resource so that it becomes air. And eventually when you're done, you'll end up with a floating node of that whatever resource you're building. Now, one of the reasons why I do this is to gather all of these early game resources, that nice stack so far of 35 iron, or 35, not iron, Yoy. 35 cobble. That's what that is, cobble. And what that does is you get your early game resources pretty quickly early on. It helps you build some of these stockpiles up. So that when you're ready, you can have the resources to build that first little emergency shelter. The other thing it does, sometimes, this is not always, I will put that as caveat, it's not always, it exposes more resources. So that iron, if I had just dug out the coal and not bothered to dig around that coal block, I never would have seen that iron. Now, again, it doesn't always work. You're going to find another vein. But it's enough, especially early game, where the trade-off of getting a lot of resources, in this case, I'm going to restrict it to cobblestone. I'm not going to worry about the dirt that comes up. But this is giving me resources. It also gave me an opportunity to grab a little bit of iron. Not something I would have had, again, if I had just done and dug out that little bit of coal that I could see with my eyes instead of digging around it. This will get me 7 or 8 pieces of iron. I might have actually seen the iron from the outside if I would have gone a little bit farther around the mountain. It's not always the case, so doing this, I'll probably end up walking away with about a stack and a half, maybe 2 stacks of cobble when all is said and done, after digging this coal vein out. But it is, like I said, a very good, easy way to get a jump start on some initial resources those first couple of nights, so that you have something that you can build a shelter with. Something a little more than wood and dirt. Anyway. Not to mention, as I said, you have the chance of uncovering more resources. I like to do it early on with coal veins because coal veins can be pretty sizable. It's especially true up in the mountains where we're at now, which is why I choose to do it. We're at a pretty decent enough Y level that the coal veins are probably going to be decently sized. So yeah, I was looking at about a stack and a half. Third of a stack or so of coal. Stack 7 iron. All in all, not terrible. Alright, so let's look around the island and see. It's not an island, dummy. The mountain, not island. And just see if there's anything more. Maybe climb up a little bit more just to see. Yeah, not seeing much. Yeah, not seeing too much. But we still got a decent amount of daylight. Don't need to worry too much about scrambling to get into cover yet. It is coming. Not just yet. Alright, so we've got a little bit of zinc there, but no iron pick yet. Alright, we've got some copper there. Got a bunch of stone. Looks like a little bit of iron, so let's check the cave out a little bit more. like to tag the ores with the torch. Makes them easier to spot as I come back. This doesn't look like it's going to be this doesn't look like it's going to be a huge vein. Which is perfectly fine. But I will go ahead and continue to isolate it out. Again, on the off chance that we're going to get something. Now, there we go. I'm going to hold off on getting any of the copper. Principally because I don't need copper yet. And getting copper seems like a little bit of a waste of valuable early game inventory space. I don't think I want to go delving in there yet because that looks like it might be a little bit tricky to get out of. I could. It's not something I want to worry too much about. Early game, might as well not risk it if you don't need to. Let's see what we got up here in this cave. They do have a dynamic lights mod in here, which is good. I'm not seeing much. Test some of my parkour skills as we go through and try to find any other resources. Well, doesn't look like we're going to find much more, at least nothing that is a quick, easy grab. Yeah, nothing that's a quick, easy grab. So let's spend the rest of day one grabbing some additional resources. AKA, we want the wolf and the sheep. The mutton's not too bad either, but the wolf and the sheep will take. Alright. I see some horses, but I don't have a saddle, so that's really not going to help me at all. But I'm thinking where I want to set up shop is actually going to be up here. On the other side of the mountain, of course. Always is on the other side of the mountain. I'm going to do that. Because I want to get myself my bed. I want to go ahead and make a boat as well. And get myself a few more sticks. Just so I have them on hand. Alright, let's sleep through the night. And now we're going to go ahead. I'm going to hold off. I was thinking about making a quick campfire. I realize that might not be the smartest move. Alright, you know, I made the boat. Might as well take a minute to use it. Even though we're not going to be going very far, it will make it easier than dealing with the mountains. Alright. do need to be veering left a little bit. That's a nope. Not yet. Not quite yet ready to take on skeletons. Nope. Alright, back to our nice lovely world spawn area. So let's head up, and there's a spot I think will make for a really decent mine that I kind of want to get started on. Now, I've got some okay resources for my initial day one exploration, so I'm not like super scrambling for resources at this point, but it wouldn't hurt to have a bunch more. Okay, so one of the first resources I think I'm going to want to get is some wood. Now, I'm going to use a little trick. I'm going to use a little tiny trick here. Shoot, okay. I don't necessarily want that. I'm going to use a little bit of a trick, because I'm going to go ahead and put together a campfire. And I'm going to end up using these 3 dark oak logs that I really didn't want to use. Because I want to actually start cooking some of this food, because I don't have any food at the moment. And that's a little bit of a problem. But the trick I use for dealing with these larger trees is to use ladders. Yeah, this will be good. So I get up here near the top, and I can start whittling it down. As I go. Just makes it a little easier, I have found, when dealing with some of these large trees. Okay. One thing you gotta kind of pay attention to is whether or not, when you kind of move side to side, if you can see through the tree, the leaves or not. If you can't, there's probably a good reason to believe there's a log somewhere in that area. So you're going to want to get rid of that log. Alright, here we are. I probably won't stick around until all of the leaves despawn. Just as many as will despawn while we're waiting for the food to cook. We'll grab myself a furnace. Yes, furnace. And we'll start cooking a little bit of this iron. Start cooking a little bit of that iron. You are now done. Don't need you. We'll take one of you. Oh, I do actually want to have that down. I'm gonna grab myself a shield. Shield, get myself some sticks to kind of hang on to. We'll wait for that to finish. Alright. So I'm going to use that little bit of charcoal I got. I'm going to hang on to some sticks. Yeah, I'm going to hang on to some sticks. And let's take a look at our map a little bit since we're kind of standing here for a second. So kind of the area I think we're going to set up camp first is going to be up here by this hill. Because I think this hill will make a really good start to a mine shaft. At least I'm hoping it will. It also has some nice flat clear area that we can work with to set up farms and other resource gathering that we might need. I have one piece of raw mutton still. That was not supposed to happen. So let's fix that real quick. I'm supposed to cook that before I broke the campfire down. Alright, well, I'm not going to worry too much about anything left that will drop from that tree. We're going to head over to that hill and see about getting ourselves a mini shelter and mine put together. I got distracted by a cave. Fortunately, it's a water cave, which makes me a little bit nervous about our mine. It makes me a teensy bit nervous about the mine. Another cave here. Alright, this makes me feel a little bit better. There's not much in there, but it's fine. Alright, so here is where we want to set up our mine. Now, I'm going to... I want to kind of set this up in a chunk. So, somewhere like right here looks pretty good. There we go. That looks pretty damn good. Alright, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we are. Now, I'm going to want to build this up a little bit. Build that up just a little. We're going to go and one more, and then we're just going to dig ourselves out a little room. A little 5x5 room. Already seeing some caves, and that has me tiny bit worried. Also seeing some waterlogged caves, which has me even more worried. with them. We'll get this built up. We'll get some torches down, get a door in, and this will double as our hobbit holes, early game hobbit hole shelter and mining operation. I do want to go one more into the ceiling as well. All right. We've got enough that I can start putting things down. So on this side, we'll go ahead and put our workbench, put our bed there. Let's put our furnace there. And then let's make a chest. Let's go there for right now where we can store all of this little stuff. Alright, you're gonna make 2 more pickaxes because I'm gonna need them. Do a quick little combine and repair. It's always a little bit to your advantage not to let your tools break. Because if you combine 2 broken tools, you get the combined remaining durability of each tool, plus 5% of the max durability of the tool. That just makes it a little bit extra when it comes to how much more use you can get out of the tools. For a stone pickaxe like what I'm using now, it's not a huge difference. I want to say it's an extra 6 or 7 blocks or something like that. But it is enough of a difference that it can actually help. Alright, so we're gonna trap ourselves a door. Put our coal away. And then I think, just so we're nice and bright in here, we're going to add torches all the way around. Okay. Now, I do want to take some of the cobble that we've got and just fill this in. And make ourselves a little bit of smooth stone. I don't think I'm going to want a lot. But we're going to see. We're going to see how much we could potentially want. Dig my ceiling out so that it doesn't look quite so cramped in the hobbit hole. There we go. And we got a little bit more dirt to work with if we needed it outside. Alright, so it is nighttime, so let's go ahead and sleep through this night. This is actually going to be a really good place for us to go ahead and call this our first episode. So we'll get sleep through the night here and get ourselves kind of turned around. As always, of course, I do thank everyone for watching and do appreciate you tremendously. And as get another brain fart. Words hard. And do wish you all a good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, until we meet again on my next misadventure.